milestones over the past few weeks, milestones of a year since, what happened this time last year, all those sorts of things. And it's caused me to reflect a little bit about the differences, and particularly thinking about the difference in our attitude perhaps, the sort of mindset that we had a year ago and the mindset that we have now. And I wanted to just think for a moment, particularly framing it from the perspective of Parashat Vayikra, which we read of course this week, some of my thoughts. So in Vayikra we begin to talk about the korbanot, the sacrifices that were brought in the temple. And really behind the concept of a sacrifice, which perhaps is not the best translation, is of course the word lekarev, to come close. Korban comes from the word lekarev. Karov means to be close to somebody or to something. And of course the idea is that we are trying to bring ourselves closer to the Almighty, that there are ideas behind these sacrifices, behind the sort of temple service that really hopes to bring us closer and build a better relationship with the Almighty. And in the absence of a temple, we of course do that through our tefillot, through our prayers, and in other ways as well. One of the sacrifices of the temple, actually brought at the beginning of Pesach, is called the korban omer, which is where we get the term sefirat omer, the counting of the omer, from after that particular sacrifice was brought. And this was a barley sacrifice. This was brought from the first grain, picked of course at the beginning of the spring, and that would be brought right at the beginning of Pesach, the beginning of Chol HaMoed Pesach. And the way that the Torah phrases the bringing of this sacrifice, the bringing of this korban, is im takrif, if you will bring. Now, immediately the commentators jump and says, what do you mean if you will bring? Is this a choice? Do you have the choice? Can you do it? Can you not do it? And of course the answer is that no, this is absolutely a commandment. This is one of the things that we're required to do in the Torah. Every year this was brought. It doesn't matter whether you choose to or not. So why does the Torah phrase it as im takrif? And I think Rav Moshe Feinstein offers a really, really fascinating insight. And that is that particularly in the realm of coming close to the Almighty, when we're talking about korbanot, we're talking about a means to build a relationship. Even if we're compelled to do something, even if we have to do something, we still have a choice as to what our attitude will be. Will we, in a sense, be choosing to do it? Will we feel that we are voluntarily doing something, even if maybe we're expected to? Or will we be doing it because our hands are tied behind our back, because we feel like we're forced to? And of course, this is true in any relationship. This is true in our interpersonal relationships as well. There are expectations upon a parent, expectations upon a child, expectations upon a spouse, whoever it may be, there are expectations there. But even with those expectations, you can sort of do it in a way. Your attitude can be that I am choosing to do this. I am choosing to feed my children. Yes, of course I have to feed my children, but I also want to feed my children. I want that to be part of the nurture that I give them. And Rav Moshe Feinstein says that the same exact thing is true over here. Yes, the Almighty commands us. Yes, the Almighty tells us that we have to bring this korban, but im takrif. We can choose to have the attitude of if. We can choose to have the attitude of actually we want to do this. We are bringing this because we are choosing to do this, not because we are commanded to do this. Now, as I think back to a year ago, to the beginning of that very, very first lockdown, I think that while it's true, there was government laws, we were all told this is what we have to do, we have to stay inside. I think that at the same time, our attitude at that time was, we want to do this. We want to come together as a country, and we want to overcome this together. In a sense, it was a very, very giving attitude. We all wanted to be able to help each other, to be able to be there for each other's safety, for each other's health. And personally, I feel that a little bit of that attitude has got lost. Okay, maybe the circumstances have changed. Certainly you can discuss what exactly the parameters of lockdown should or shouldn't be. Yes, there's a lot of details to discuss. But I think at its core, that attitude of still wanting to be able to be part of a broader society where we're helping each other, where we're giving to each other, where we're in this together, where we want to be able to solve a problem as a unit, and we want to be able to do what we possibly can to help other people. I think that is up to us to provide that. With all the rules, with whatever we're being told we have to do, whatever we are being compelled to do, we have the choice as to what our attitude will be to all of that. Are we doing it because our hands are tied behind our back? Or are we doing it because we want to help everybody around us and because we want to give them the best chance to have a healthy and happy life? Shabbat Shalom.